My name is Chandler Robertson, and today I'm going to be talking about Staggville, a historic plantation in North Carolina. And here is a photo of Staggville, the main house. Alright, to start off, where is it and what was it? Staggville is located in Durham County, North Carolina. It was a huge plantation that was the home of hundreds of slaves before the Civil War. In fact, it was one of the biggest plantations in the state of North Carolina. Today it's preserved as a historic site that people can visit to learn about the lives of those who lived there, which were pretty much slaves. Now, here's a little background information about Staggville. Staggville was originally founded by the Benahan family, but was later expanded by the Cameron family. The plantation existed from the late 1700s all the way through the Civil War and covered about 30,000 acres of land and was home to about 900 men, women, and kids, which were mainly slaves. Now, let's talk about slavery at Staggville. The slaves lived in what were called Horton Grove slave dwellings. These were small, basic houses where multiple families often lived together that were usually 2 stories. The slaves did all the labor on the plantation. They cleaned, cooked, built things, and maintained the property. But even with the rough conditions, they created their own communities within the plantation, supporting each other and keeping their traditions alive. Now, let's talk about culture in Staggville. The people at Staggville practiced mainly Christianity, but there were also other religious practices as well. They were builders, farmers, and craftsmen. But even with difficult conditions they maintained family structures and traditions. This shows how hardworking and creative they were, even though they were slaves. Now moving on to the legacy of Staggville. The plantation began to decline with the start of the Civil War. When emancipation happened, the enslaved people were now free, so many left Staggville. Today, Staggville is a preserved historic site. I actually did end up going to Staggville when I was around the age of 6, but since I was so young, I didn't really remember anything being there, so that was pretty much a bummer. But Staggville helps us see how enslaved people survived, built communities, and maintained their culture despite going through oppression. Now, to conclude, Staggville is more than just a plantation. It shows North Carolina's past. It shows what slavery was like in the late 1700s, how slaves managed to make lives for themselves under rough conditions, and it helps people understand Southern society during the Civil War era. Now that it's a historic site, it gives us a place to reflect on our history and remember the resilience the slaves had who lived there. And lastly, here are the links with citations I used in my presentation to find the information in the photos I used. Thank you.